What is going on? It's going to be a 20-second delay on YouTube for us here in here, but we got the Survivor Wisconsin Season 8 Colin vs. Chaos reunion. We got most of the cast here. We're going to dive into what the group chat's been going on with the last couple weeks. A lot of chaos, a lot of calmness too, but we'll take it. Very excited to have everybody on here. I think we also will dive into award winners as people got to vote on, which was awesome to see. But before we really get into everything, I think we got to hear from the winner himself, Sam. How the hell did it feel to win this game, watching it back and everything? What's your takeaways, man?
I, I will. It's even outright saying very hard to describe the feeling. Not only watching back the win compared to how the win felt in the moment, but just even seeing like me actually winning on screen has been something I've wanted to see for forever, and something I've wanted to share with my friends as well. Because I have a ton of friends from everything who watch Survivor and love the show. And so having them even be able to celebrate with me on this side has been incredible to hear. Of course, there is the other side to it of winning, of hearing all of the reactions even after the fact, which I'm guessing we'll probably get to at some point during the reunion, of people being like, X should have won, X should have won. Why did he win? And that stuff, I've heard it. It's gone from my memory, and I'm just happy to have the title of Soul Survivor at this point. And it's been a pleasure to go out and do it.
Yeah, congratulations, man. I think you definitely were a worthy winner, and it was awesome seeing how emotional you got through it all. I think a lot of people connected with that who love the game. Regardless if people don't deserve your win or whatever you want to say, everyone's entitled to their opinion, but you got the damn thing done. So keep that in mind. We're gonna kind of dive into now, continue diving with the final five, and then we're gonna break up into everybody else going on. So I guess we could bring in the person that just lost. I think he said he wasn't going to show up, but I think he might have been
Oh,
lying because you know why? Because he's a
yeah.
villain.
Hey everybody, how's it going?
We knew it. I knew
That'll
it.
work.
I knew it.
The thing is,
Honestly,
I was really just nervous to be here, and I thought that I could play something or just eat some of my. Where are my Pringles?
unless he got in there. Like,
Nolan was robbed. Oh, there they are. There they are. But it's good to be here. It's good to see everybody, and I guess you too, Dan. But I'm here for the podcast. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to talk game and explain why I should have won.
So Nolan, great entrance by the way, but
Thank you.
I guess I'll kick it off with you with asking, kind of watching it back, why do you think you ultimately didn't sway enough people to vote for you? Do you think people didn't open their eyes enough, or do you think people just didn't work with you enough? I guess add on whatever you want to say.
I think people went into Final Tribal kind of already with the idea that, oh, Nolan's this GOAT. Nolan's just been joking around all game and didn't think that just a Final Tribal could sway them to get or the vote for me to win. Rather than had they been open and kind of seeing what I was doing the whole game and also understanding the garbage coming out of somebody else's mouth during that Final Tribal, lying about their game and saying certain things that wasn't true, maybe they would have now realized, as many have told me, that they would have voted for me to win. But it's okay. I'd rather be someone that lost and people have been told that they should have won than someone they should have won and everyone's saying, no, you should not have won. So
Fair enough. All right, we'll swing it over to the person who also made the final three, Vincent, who definitely I feel like has been getting overshadowed by the great personality of Nolan and Sam winning. Nolan, or not Nolan, Vincent. I guess I'm forgetting your name. I guess I'm a bad host, right?
Kidding.
Vincent, so why do you ultimately think, watching it back, getting more information, that people didn't value your game as highly as these other two?
I don't know if that's true. I'm going to push back on that. I think people did value my game. We see two people push up my name and say I'm this huge threat to win, and both of them were sent immediately to the jury soon after. Both of them are in this Zoom call. Joe went in. No bad blood, but I think people were going to the jury with the perception that I was playing, and some things didn't quite translate in the final vote, which is okay. I'm extremely proud of the game that I played. I do think I played the best game, and I don't need 7 people I met in a park one day in Wisconsin to convince me of that. But I was able to lead with my head held high. I kind of learned a lot about my own kind of confidence in what I was able to do, and I learned that I don't need external validation from something to feel like I did the best at it. And I kind of left just knowing I felt like a winner. I was a winner. So again, I don't need to be convinced of that. And I'm glad, because I think some people, one, that maybe have been affected by past game results, that maybe like their confidence was kind of faltered by like past final tribal councils. So I'm kind of glad that that confidence was given to someone else, because I don't think I really needed it.
No, I think that's a really good point. And in one of the pods that I went on, I did say I feel like I didn't even get to see a lot of your game just from being the host and not seeing behind the scenes. And I think you deserved more respect than maybe the jury gave you at that. I know you said people valued how you played, and I think they did, but obviously they didn't vote for you to win. And you don't need the
Yeah,
validation.
there's a lot that doesn't make the final cut. Not that it was edited out; it just wasn't filmed. And
Right.
I think I did. I have no regrets. I don't have any complaints, and I'm rocking with it.
All right.
I don't care
Fair.
what everyone else thinks.
Fair enough. I think you definitely, in Survivor, usually when people make the final three, there's always one person that's like kind of the GOAT or whatever you want to say, as Nolan's been saying throughout the episodes,
Right.
in a bad way. And I don't think you are at any means. I don't think last season there was anyways. I think it was a really good final three, and it's really tough when it comes down to it. It's a lot of perception, and I think you guys all played very well. So you guys should be proud of the game you played.
And there's bitterness too. I mean, like not like
Yeah.
bitterness, but like there's like it's such a short turnaround. You vote someone out, and 2 minutes later you have to vote for a winner. So I think there's a lot of emotions running at that time. So it's easy to cloud some things. But we're working with what we had.
I think so too. I have to agree with that. All right, we'll kick it to our fourth place finish. They maybe call him the Fallen Angel, if the old school Survivor fans want to call him, like maybe Tyler from season 7 as well. Jimmy, you were perceived as the person to win. Huge threat. Dominated the game, as everyone wants to say. Won 3 challenges in a row. Jimmy, what do you think you could have done differently in previous rounds to make the end?
If you want to keep going with the titles, I'm fine with that, Devin. We can just do that tonight.
No, I think that's it. I like your outfit though.
No, thank you. First off, I'm trying to figure out what's going on with Kayla's camera. But besides that, so I think that there were 2 things. My 2 biggest mistakes were at 6 and 5. At 6, I should have figured out that very clearly Nolan and Vincent were not going to go to rocks, and that Sam wanted Joe's idol out. And so I don't know, Joe would have to tell me, but I don't know if I would have been able to convince Joe of keeping his idol. Truth be told, at 6, knowing it's going to be a 3-3, he's going to be immune there. I'm immune there, and Sam would theoretically play his idol. Who knows if he would have played it if Joe didn't play his. And that Vincent and Nolan were backed into a corner to have to vote for Quentin. So the game is so quick. You like come out of the game and you're like, oh my gosh, like I could have done this, this, and this. It's really easy to be like, I should have played the optimal game. But that's just honestly impossible. It's impossible to play an optimal game. I would say besides that, at 5, in retrospect, I thought of another plan that I kind of shared on one of the pods that I've shared with a couple of people, of bluffing an idol and telling that Joe had found an idol, and telling Sam that Joe told me he found an idol, and Joe wants to vote out Sam, because then I think I could potentially convince Sam to put a vote on Vincent, and then Joe and I, or Nolan. I know, big threat Vincent. And I think that then Joe and I could have thrown our votes on Vincent or Joe or Nolan at 5 as well. Both of these are like, in retrospect, I mean, I'm really proud of the game I played. I do think I probably needed one more person there at 4 to be a big threat as well, in order to give myself a shot. But I think I gave myself a lot of shots in this game, and I had a lot of fun doing it.
Good. It was great. We're glad to have you on. We're glad to have all you guys part of the season. Let's finish it off before we kind of open it up to more open-ended questions with Mr. Joe from ATL got his second chance in this game. Battled through his social dynamics in the Outcast Switch, which was awesome to see. It was one of my favorite moments of the season, how emotional you got getting back in the game. I think you deserved it from just flying all the way out to come play, which was, awesome to see that people are willing to do that. Joe, just kind of tell me a bit about your game, kind of watching it back, seeing that you were perceived as a huge threat to get to them because a lot of pinks around the jury that were going to validate your win and how well you played. Talk just a little bit about your game, finding your idol. Maybe if you didn't play it that round, you would have been able to save yourself at 5. Just if you want to add that on top of it too.
Yeah. I mean, from the very beginning, when I was blindsided by the game, I was basically just screwed by the twist of the game of being out. I realized that I had to become everyone's best friend who was joining that outcast tribe so that I could be on their list to get back into the game. And that was step 1 of getting back in, right? And then once I got back in, I had to immediately work to be the person on pink that was the less threatening, that looked the most attractive to work with, because I knew that yellow was just going to eat through pink from the beginning, right? And so I had to stay as long as I could until the cracks started forming, so that then someone would say, hey, Joe, we need you as a vote. We need you as a number in our block so we can finally start playing this game. But that was my strategy coming back in. Even though I was always going to be loyal to pink and to the pink votes, I definitely was working hard. People went to lunch during that break. I didn't eat anything. I started talking to Tony. I started talking to Sam. I was like, let's go. And so I think those early conversations kept me on their safe list for a while. And then at that point, once Jake and Jamil were gone, and then when Kayla was gone too, I was like, well, now I just have to win out or find idols or do something to stay in the game, because at this point you just have to be resilient and stay in. Otherwise, I was going to have too good of a story, especially with 3 pink people being on the jury at that point. It was going to be tough to sit next to me, and I understood that. And I mean, ultimately, when Sam was like, I have to vote you out here, when he told me that, I was like, yeah, I get it. I kind of have to respect this gameplay, because it was I felt burned, but I also felt like I get the move. Yeah.
Fair enough. I think your hands get tied in this game, and there's only so many avenues you can go. And I think you did as best you could, and it was awesome to see you fight your way back and people actually use you for a number instead of, I feel like sometimes when people come back from a battle back or comeback, they are an easy first vote off, because typically, hint, hint, we usually don't, like the real show sometimes do, we don't really give an idol or an advantage back to the player that comes back in the game, which, people can agree or disagree on that. But I think the way you were able to fit yourself back in was awesome to see. All right, so that's enough of the final 5. Congrats to you guys all making the finale. It was a great ending. I think the beginning of the game was a little boring, as maybe some people thought, but you guys all brought entertainment throughout to still make the season probably my favorite, honestly, overall. Since you're here, I think we ought to give you a question. Joey, first person out of the game, unfortunately. Watching everything back, I know you stayed, which was awesome to see, and saw things unfold. What is your perception of this game, and kind of, I guess, your thoughts on getting out first? Because I know it's a tough pill to swallow.
I mean, in the moment, it sucked, because you are for me personally, I'm a huge fan of this game. Applied maybe 2 or 3 times for the actual game. So to get out first, not really the best ideal. But just being able to watch it as a non-bias of having no biases, except, obviously my friendship with Sam, just hoping for the best with him. It was just fun to watch. I enjoyed it. Like it was nice talking to Dan and Nick the entire time, just like watching everything happen as just someone who has no care in the world about this. So it really didn't matter. Um, I really enjoyed our David moment for the your mall vote. I thought that was pretty funny. But in all, despite being out first, it was still a great experience. And I was just thank you for the opportunity.
Yeah, I'm sorry it ended so early. At least you had somewhat of a chance to come back, but it's tough in Outcast Twist when the players don't maybe know you as well compared to the others. Since this tribe just kept losing every damn challenge, the Pink Tribe, Filamu, Richie, get it right. Come on. We got a couple of the pre-jurors pinks in here. We got who we got? We got Dan, aka Kitty. We got Nick. I think that's it, right? Everybody else made the merge that's here. Starting off with you, Nick. Tell me about your game. Tell me about your experience. And are you actually as good at the worm as you are doing slide puzzles? Is the real question.
Boy, my worm is unmatched. I was actually, when I got voted
You
out,
got Dan in your hand too. Come on.
What?
You got Dan in your hand too.
Oh my God, I was so upset when I forgot because we won the first challenge. It would have been the perfect opportunity. Tribe morale was high. It would have been even higher. And I promise you, we would have won that second challenge if I had just done the worm. It would have united us.
Can you do it now?
No, I will not. I think that's a survivor only thing when I'm in the game.
Fair enough.
It's
But
just unfortunate we didn't get to see it, Nick, though, because you dididn't play well enough to make the jury, so I never got to meet you.
oh, you so right, Nolan. No,
But
yeah, as for my game, oh my God. I mean, I blew up my own game. Like that was no one else's doing except for my own. If I could do it over again, I would of course I saw Kayla find the idol, and a better strategy would have of course been to talk to Dan and Kayla and be like, hey, just so you know, I saw that. I'll keep it to myself. I think we can work with this. But I did the polar opposite of that. So, yeah, maybe not the best idea.
It is what it is. I think you still were very entertaining, and you guys just kept losing, so it's tough. No tries. Thought maybe would have helped some of you guys as well. Dan, the last person out right before the merge, the Outcast twist screwed you over where you didn't get a chance to really plead your case to the other Outcast why you should come back in. You were one of those last pinks left. What do you have to say to these other pinks that did not keep you around, and overall just your thoughts on kind of your game watching it back and your experience and everything?
Let it be clear, the Outcast twist is not what screwed me over. Jamil is what screwed me over. And so he thought it was this huge big brain move. This guy was so full of himself for all of the pre-merge. Like, dude, I'm gonna have all my Discord friends watching me. They're gonna be saying this guy's got the mastermind at it. He's running everything on Pink Tribe, and for what? Just so he can go and immediately lose his first immunity challenge and have the guy he took over me flip on him. It was just it was a big move, made for great TV. Honestly, made it for a memorable exit, except for Quentin, who didn't even know me after the game. But that's okay. I go down as a hero. He looks like the fool at the end of the day, and I've already forgiven Kayla for not standing her ground and sticking up for me in that vote.
All right, we'll let Jamil and Kayla rebuttal to that. I think really quick.
I mean, hey, I'll say it once, I'll say it again. You and Kayla were too close. Had to nip that in the bud. Jake was closer to me, and I stand on business. I think it was the right move. I saved you from the mercy that was Veve.
Is that why you were second juror?
You know what? You know what, Vince? There's a lot of things that went wrong in the merge. Let's just leave it to the boringness of your tribe for the first 2 rounds of the merge. But we'll leave it there. We'll leave it there.
Guys, sorry my camera has a mind of its own, but yeah, Dan, I wanted to keep you. I love Jake. I think that all the pinks that we kept, and even Joe, who got his second chance and represented us super well. If it were up to me, you would have stayed. You know this. I proved it to Trinity too, but I blame it on Jamil.
No, Kayla, you had full aware that you could have said no to that plan. You fully went with it. Don't act all innocent. You knew what you were doing.
Jamil, it was televised. Like, it was literally on YouTube saying, like, I wanted Dan instead of Jake. I made that so loud and clear. You can't say otherwise. We all saw it. but
didn't fight as hard as I fought for Jake. So
I will say, I mean, Kayla, if you did stand your ground, it would have at the bare minimum been a tie vote, but I still blame Jamil at the end of the day. But Jake, is it okay if I ask Jake a question? Because Jamil keeps saying how he is so close with Jake, but honestly, from my perspective, that was just a relationship of convenience for Jake. I don't know how close he actually felt to Jamil. Can you confirm or deny that?
Well, I kind of knew kind of how things were going over on Pink, like, because really my first alliance was Joe and Nick, technically, but then I saw that, when Joe was out first and then, Nick was blowing up his own shit over there, then I kind of had to, kind of adjust there. And then so, I saw that you and Kayla were kind of close. Things weren't really going well with Julie and Linda, so Jamil seemed like the best option there, and he was telling me shit. So that's where I was getting a lot of my information there. So I felt pretty locked in there, quite honestly.
Yeah, and what were you telling Jake? You weren't telling him nothing. I was telling him what's going on in the game.
I mean, it worked out really well for you both. I'm glad that you guys both made it to the final three.
You're terrible. Whatever.
This is just putting me to sleep because I feel like all the Pink players are just so irrelevant on this season that, like, when are we switching it up to more of like the more interesting players? Like, let's talk to Quentin. Let's talk to Vincent. Let's even take a quick trip to Joey. You know what I mean? Let's talk to some of these people.
Coming from the guy, Yellow Tribe pre-merge was the most boring thing I've ever seen in my life.
I kind of fast forward through those.
You guys were so boring that we literally
going on.
didn't even get an episode of you guys because the footage got lost. That's how boring
you guys didn't even know
were.
each other's names.
The highlight was a frog.
You didn't get an episode because we didn't lose.
That frog was the goat, though.
Yeah.
small
Because of
talk
how
you had
boring
was
the rest of you were. I
painstaking.
agree.
I'll agree with that, honestly. Our pre-merge was
What did you want us to do? Like fight and get voted out like right away, like you guys did? I don't understand what you wanted us to do.
We didn't get voted out because we fought. We got voted out because we sucked at challenges.
You guys I think you guys struggled to stick together at the merge a little bit.
Well, I wasn't at the merge, so.
Oh, okay. Fair.
Look, like, I feel like we're done talking to File Flop. You know what I mean? Let's talk it over with the better tribe now. Devin, what do you think?
Yeah, I think that's enough for Fila Move for now. We'll touch back with Jake in a little bit because he was a part of the merge and everything. So Yellow, you Bebe say had control throughout majority of the game, pretty much almost the whole entire thing. You guys kept winning. You only had to vote 2 people off in the pre-merge. Joey, who's here, kind of talked about experience, and Dick, who decided not to show up, I guess. Guess he can't figure out if his name's Richard or Dick. I guess we got to figure that out. But Bebe say so. I first want to talk to Quentin because we haven't gotten to hear from him yet tonight. Quentin, what was your overall opinion of Yellow in that pre-merge phase 2? You and Sam, you voted for Sam, kind of came back to bite you in the butt a little bit towards the end. But Quentin, just tell me, just get the pot stirring about Bebe say why you guys were so good. What was your downfall? Just let's just get the conversation going here.
Yeah, sure. I mean, I think from the get-go, we could tell our tribe was going to be superior in every challenge. It was a shock, honestly, when we lost the first challenge to me. I thought we had it in the bag. And the entire time we were voting, we were having these conversations. Well, after the first vote, we were having these conversations like, we're not losing another challenge in the pre-merge. And we didn't. So we called that from the get-go. And unfortunately, Joey went first and then Dick went second, and we shouldn't even have had to go and vote Dick out because we never lost another challenge, but game's the game. So we voted Dick out, and I didn't vote Dick out. Everybody else voted Dick out. I wanted to get Sam. I didn't even know he had an idol at that point. I just wanted to vote Sam out because I hadn't really talked to him that much at that point. And yeah, it turns out we should have had the numbers to do it. Everybody else who I wanted in on the vote also wanted to vote Sam, but we just didn't have the time to get it together. So I voted Sam because I thought we had the numbers, but vote's the vote. I was on the wrong side of it. And then, yeah, I guess it kind of came back to bite me. I don't know. I wouldn't say that's the reason I was voted out. I think I made some other mistakes. I think the Tony vote, yeah, Jimmy was a bit of my downfall. I think, I mean, the Tony vote needed to be a Jimmy vote for me, I think. I think it was great for Vincent and Nolan, but for me, that was bad because Jimmy, I mean, I didn't really know this at the time, but Jimmy already didn't trust me. And then that just, from there it was just Armageddon for me. I was kind of playing the bottom, trying to count on Vincent and Nolan to keep me in the game. Nolan's extra vote and them going to rocks for me. I couldn't even believe they went to rocks for me once. So I was, not shocked when it didn't happen twice, especially knowing afterwards that they had no other option. I think my only real hope was to somehow convince Joe to play his idol for me, but that was never going to happen. And I thought of that like 2 weeks later. So um, yeah, I mean, I think I played a pretty good pre-merge. I think we all played a pretty good pre-merge, and yeah, I mean, it was very calm on the Chaos Tribe pre-merge, and that's just because we dominated in the challenges.
Quinn, I don't even think you played a bad game though. I don't think you screwed yourself with the Tony move. I think you just got strong armed by Jimmy winning immunity.
That's true too.
I think
Yeah, that's very true.
hindsight, Joe and Sam can say whatever they want. 100% in the moment, they would have voted out Jimmy if he doesn't win immunity there. I believe so. Especially if Sam's ideal final three was truly me and Vincent, or at least two of the three of us. No way he's voting with Jimmy that round.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think we have the numbers to get Jimmy anyways with your extra vote at that point. So I think so one of them comes with us. So I think
it's 7. You don't.
No, I'm saying it's 6. I was saying it's 6.
6.
Sorry. I was not saying it's 7.
Yeah, there's a chance with. I don't know what Sam would have done, but I think.
And what would you have done?
Yeah,
I'm gonna be honest. I don't know what I would have done there. Here's my at least rationale from Final Six was that I need to make sure Joe and Jimmy didn't get to the end. But I'm looking at like the numbers advantage on either side. My brain, at least during the moment, was like, okay, if I can free up that one spot on the 3-person group and take over that spot come final 5, then I'm pretty much guaranteed a spot at the end.
And that's what I thought you were.
If you want Joe up for final 6, why'd you go to rocks for him though?
Well, then it's because that's how my plan was working.
Then you put yourself in a position where you basically got really lucky that Jimmy or Joe didn't win the final immunity because you get swept.
Yeah, I did. They didn't win the final immunity. That's not what happened.
Yeah,
Cool.
you also shouldn't have won. I have texts from a lot of the jurors, but that's
okay.
Can get into it.
Can I quickly just nip this in the butt real quick?
Well, it's going to be a bigger thing. Let me address this 6 thing first. Sorry, Sam. I was banking, even if I didn't win immunity, I was banking on Sam knowing that if he goes to 4 with Quentin, Vincent, and Nolan, that he's very clearly 4, but he's not going to the end. And I was banking on Joe knowing that I was essentially his only option at 6 as well. And I think I communicated that semi-clearly to them. I didn't realize that Kayla was the one that was doubting me at 7. But it makes sense watching back, just to be clear, Kayla. Also, hi, Zerdali. My entire banking was that Sam was playing rationally and understood that he couldn't go to Final 4 with the 3 of you.
Yeah, I just think the original discussion was like, I don't think Quentin voting out Tony was a bad move. I just think.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think I was the better vote out for sure. I think you guys should have blindsided me.
Sure, but like I'm saying in general, like at 6, like it wasn't Quentin making that move is why he went home at 6.
Agreed.
I agree with that.
Not at all.
That's fair.
I think honestly, at least from my perspective, from what Quentin out of the 3 of you scared me the most, just because he was so quiet and so to himself with his game, that I feel like Quentin, legitimately speaking, if you go on another season and get to Final Tribal, I'm expecting you to have like the best Final Tribal I've ever seen, because the way
that was my goal.
I saw your brain working, I'm like, oh my God, I'm so scared of this guy again.
Yeah, I think my plan, honestly, and I said it in my exit interview, and I mean, now that I've thought about it, I don't think this is what I would have done, but my plan in the moment was to get to a final 3 without Vincent there, because I thought Vincent was playing the best social game out of the 3 of me, Vincent, and Nolan. That was a bad read. I think Nolan was playing the best social game now.
Vincent, let's go.
That's just what I think. I mean, that's where my vote went. I stand by my vote at Final Tribal Council. I think Nolan had a better Final Tribal. I think he just kind of shocked me with the game that he was playing. Because I just didn't see it throughout when I was in the game. I didn't really see it. And then everything, when I talked to the jurors and everything else, stuff kind of started clicking to me. But I don't know, for me at least, I don't think it's as simple as I'm going to the final 3 with Vincent and Nolan. Because I it's a tricky situation because the three of us would have played like super similar games at that point. So it almost comes down to who's a better speaker at Final Tribal Council rather than who played a better game because we would have essentially voted together every single vote of the season. And that's a scary situation to put yourself in if you're trying to win the game.
Vincent, if you want to respond to that, and then I'll lead in something else that will connect all this after you finish.
Yeah, I don't feel like I need to defend my game, but I'll say it since you asked. I think comparing Nolan and I think I said this on the comment section of a podcast once, but I think Nolan really played well on offense and I played well on defense, and that's how we were able to be really successful. I think he was good at telling us where the numbers needed to go, and I was good at wrangling the numbers and pushing the targets onto other people. I think where my game stands out is managing the extra vote a little differently than how Nolan intended to. I think I had pushed a lot of the targets that weren't optimal choices for everybody. I mean, you yourself, Quentin, said you wanted to keep Jake at the first vote at the merge. Other people said that in their confessionals. We saw that in the episode, but I was the first one to push Jake's name and make sure that it was the one that stuck. I do the same for Jamil. Who do I do the same for after? I wanted Kayla out. She goes home. Not going to take credit that was a bit of luck. And then as soon as you start pushing my name, you go home. But I mean, I'm not going to say Nolan played a bad game at all because I don't think he did. I don't think it's necessarily true that my social game was definitively worse than his. But I know perception's all right, and maybe take off those headphones and listen during Final Tribal War. That's what I would suggest to Quentin.
Right, I agree. I feel like in my eyes, me and Vincent were like the Dom and Wendell, and then Sam was like the Laurel of the final tribal, is the way that I kind of looked at it. And like that's it. I mean, like even afterwards, like me and Vincent talked about this. Like we kind of just felt like how Cassidy didn't win 43 and Gabler won. We were like, wow, what is going on right now? So I brought I have a little list that I brought really quickly before you spoke. List of Survivor robberies or just robberies in general. We have Nolan Werner, Rachel Riley, Trinity Stad, and Cassidy Clark. We have four major robberies for four major greatest of all time players. And just had to throw myself on the list with three legends. Shout out Trinity.
Vincent's not on there for you?
No,
That's
well,
odd.
I should have won. So like I think Vincent should have got more votes than Sam, but that's a different story.
I will say, I think, I mean, I wasn't to go back to my point and just clarify. I don't think Vincent's game was definitively worse than Nolan's. That's not what I was trying to say. But I was just trying to say, I think if I voted again, I would have voted the same way. And to kind of expand on that, I think Vincent and Nolan played such a similar game. Yeah, I can't read the jurors' minds, but I think for some people it may have been difficult to discern between who they should vote for between Vincent or Nolan if they're going to vote. Like in my mind, it's almost like you have two places you can vote. You can vote for Sam or you can vote for Vincent and Nolan. If you're voting for Vincent and Nolan, you have to pick one. And
You
if
could be
you
wrong,
can't
you could be
pick
right.
a definitively
Yeah,
better
right.
person, then your
Yeah.
vote's going for Sam. So I don't know. That's kind of where I think you two may have lost votes in the moment in the jury, just by not being able to convince people you played a better game than each other. But I can't read people's mind. That's just my guess.
All right. I think we'll lead into this then. So a couple award winners from tonight, I'll kind of review them throughout this reunion. So these kind of go hand in hand what we were talking about so we can talk more about it. So best move of the game, it was a close one, but ultimately it was the Tony blindside that kind of kicked off episode 8, which was the best episode probably ever up there for our channel. Second place was Nolan's extra vote. And with the extra vote, I will clear this up because we had some people
Nolan's
asking.
asterisks.
You're good. We have some people asking about the extra vote. Extra vote is good through a revote. Look it up just look up as an extra vote good on a revote on Google for Survivor. It will say it is. So it is a thing. Sometimes it hasn't happened. Maybe in our past seasons, like way back when, we didn't allow that because it didn't ever really was shown before in the real show. But once it was shown in Survivor 41 with Shan, I believe, we do follow that rule. So keep in mind for the future. So I just want to touch base on that. But so yeah, play of the season, move of the season was Tony's blindside. I know you three guys were just talking, but if you guys want to quickly kind of touch base on thought process on that, what kind of made you guys want to do that and kind of what it led to for the rest of your guys' games?
I mean, it was lit. Come on now, but I'll let someone else start it off.
I love to take credit where credit is due for myself. So I'll start off. The two of them really want Jimmy. They want Jimmy out. And for me, I knew I wanted Jimmy, Joe, and Kayla in at that point, because it would mean no universe where I would get voted out, or anyone I was working with, like Nolan, would get voted out, and Quentin as well. So I pushed Tony, who I had not spoken to probably since the pre-merge one-on-one, if ever. And it was, I forgot his name. I was like, we need to vote the guy in the I almost even dropped the plan because I genuinely could not remember what his name was. I was like, the guy in the tank top, what's his name? And then I think one of you two was like, Tony. It's like, yes, we need to vote Tony. And it worked. It was thrilling, exhilarating. It was in the rain, and it was a really quick plan. I wonder if there had been more pushback, how it would have gone if it wasn't in that quick meeting. But I was able to get the person that I wanted out the most, and it benefited me the most, I think.
Yeah.
My piece.
Yeah, I agree with everything Vincent said. I think he was definitely instrumental in who the vote was. I think I was pretty important in making sure we had the numbers to do it and to make sure that Nolan didn't have to play his extra vote. I think, right, I think that's kind of where I see all three of our contributions. I was really the one who, because I talked to Joe before the previous tribal council and said, look, somebody on our tribe has an idol. I want to get them out of the game. We're going to flip on our tribe the next tribal council. I was going to push Sam, but of course then Sam's immune, so we still want to flip at this point. So we're switching the vote up. But Joe already knows to come look for me at that tribal council where we only have 2 minutes. If Joe doesn't know to look for me, we might not get to talk to Joe and get that number in, which would mean Nolan would have to use his extra vote. And at that point, who even knows if that's because I think that was at 8, right? So that would be tie vote territory. So um, being able to control the vote, know where Joe is going to vote, allows us to have 4 votes and allows Nolan to keep his extra vote in his pocket because we know that the plan as the tribe is to split votes. So we know that there's not going to be 4 votes on anybody else because we know the rest of the people are splitting.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Quentin's
he
absolutely
said it
right.
so.
This is the first time that I was alive in the game, and it felt great. And this is where we see the game actually start to play out and shake things up, right? And so when Quentin came to me and he was like, it's not this time, it's the next time, I immediately went right back to him and I'm like, all right, what's the deal? Is it Tony? Is it Jimmy? Like, what's going on? And I I'm kind of surprised that it was not one more pink vote out before this happened, but I do think it's because Sam had that idol. They were just anxious to get in first before they could get to the other side. So absolutely, I think this was a great superlative to say best moment of the game of like the Tony vote. It was a good one.
Yeah, I think it also like completely set us up to make it to 6, basically. Like having that extra vote, like I knew no
Yes.
matter what, I was gonna go to Rocks with Quentin and Vincent because I knew that they were always gonna vote with me. And in my mind, I was like, I mean, props to Sam and Kayla and Jimmy and Joe for going to Rocks next round. I think that was a mistake on your part, but at least for Sam's game, I think Jimmy made a comment earlier, or I saw it in the podcast or something about how that wasn't good for Sam's game because he put himself at a 75% chance. Whether me, Vince, I'm still speaking. Me, Vincent, and Sam going home, which would be bad for your game. Where for me, I could care less if you went home idle in pocket or Kayla goes home. So for me, it was very much so where I was in a position where I could then guarantee us 6 by taking out Tony and I. So I don't think it was around early for people that think it was around early because it guaranteed us 6 pretty much.
Can I make a comment on that real quick? Because this is something I've been seeing going around a lot recently, is this 75% chance of failure thing. I made a comment, I believe, saying that I wanted to next to Nolan and Vincent, which is true. And that was my ideal final 3. But let me clarify this whole thing. I wanted to sit next to any combination of Quentin, Vincent, and Nolan at the final tribal. I might have said in the games more so something like that. It's hard to say things in the game and not like think twice about everything or not even to think. I want to clarify that, legitimately speaking, it was the best outcome possible for me. I will admit that that was the best outcome for my game, but it wasn't the end all be all crux to my game.
I mean, I think
I
it
don't.
very well could have, and I think Jimmy, I'd love to hear your opinion on this. Like, I think if me or Vincent goes home, there's no way you're working with Quentin and Vincent, or me and Quentin. So I think that
Yeah.
it still hurts your game.
Yeah. I think. Well, I think a couple. Yeah, I think a couple things. I already kind of put out, and someone just explained like why I thought it was 75% chance. I understand you potentially could have gone with Quentin, but I think if one of them goes there, I just don't think you. If the only way you make the final three is with me, I think Sam there.
I I mean, I'm not gonna fully agree with that because I really don't know where the votes are going the rest of the season. I don't know what happens, but there are plans that can happen, of course, at 654. And truthfully, we really
Yeah,
don't get to know what happens there. But
yeah, I know things change, but I just think like Kayla and Joe were either working with me or like the Vincent Nolan contingent. And so it just felt like you were the most distant from them at that moment.
yeah,
And so I just think it like really crushes your odds to make the final three is what I was saying. And the best way for you to make the final three is a situation which you lose pretty handedly, in my opinion. And so I think I will also say that the back-to-back tribal there changes everything. Because I think eventually what happens is it probably gets back to us if it's not a back-to-back tribal there, because Joe probably talks to Kayla about this, and then Kayla would probably have ended up talking to me about it. I'm not sure, but I'm pretty sure she would have. And so either Joe is voting with you guys and you have to use your extra vote there. Vincent kind of said this already, but and so it's like a 5-4, we lose, you guys vote out Tony, right? But then Joe is incentivized to go with me and Sam to be a 4 and a 3, and then we sort of steamroll from there. And so I think the back to back was actually a really, really beneficial time to flop because there was so little time for information to circulate. And that's a testament to your guys' game. I'm not saying that that is like a knock on doing it or that you like got lucky. No, that was a great time to flop, I thought.
Yeah, and I'd also like to bring up something because this has honestly been really bothering me, and it's when people say like the Kayla vote and people get pressed about that. Like Kayla went home during that round. Like that's who I wanted to go home during that round. The only way that that even happens is by my extra vote happening. That doesn't happen without the extra vote and me, Quinn, and Vincent voting for Joe. So by me seeing the Quinn vote, Kayla, I know you've never seen Survivor, but like that's my verbatim of saying like you went home on that vote rather than saying like I wrote down your name physically. If
But
that
no,
makes
couldn't you gotten out or like other people?
What's up?
Couldn't anybody have gotten out as well? Because we all chose Rob.
No, I no, but I'm saying like the Kayla vote, like the vote where Kayla went home. I think that's
Oh
where
yeah,
the
you're not taking credit. No, I understood like the first time you clarified, like honestly in the game. But
okay, because it seems like a lot of people did not. And I think at least on the podcast, maybe they have the bad reads, but they were like, that's where Nolan's kind of final tribal speech really put me off. Because in my opinion, I'm like, I mean, like that doesn't even happen if we don't play the extra vote there.
no, I
So
think Jimmy caught it too, and he's like, Nolan, because I understand what you're saying, can you tell the rest of the audience what you really meant? And I think you clarified it there too.
okay,
I
good.
was
I'm just
clarifying
kidding
that
because I know
it was
people on the
luck, and
podcast have been still
yeah.
bringing it up, and I'm like, don't understand the game then.
Yeah, no, sitting there on the jury in hearing the final tribal council and when it came up and people said the Kayla vote, and I was sitting next to Kayla, like she would squeeze my hand and she was like, I am so frustrated when they say that. Like, why are they saying that? So that's where that came from.
I mean,
Is
it's on tape that I
it
say
was in the
I own up
moment
to the luck
kind
of
of
it all,
thing
but
and the feeling in the moment.
No, 100%. I completely agree. I just like that was my verbatim saying like that, like explain that round. Like I'd say the Tony round or the Jimmy round. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's like although like me and Vincent were on the right side of every vote. So that is also something like we were the reason why every single person was on the jury one way or another, whether we were at the head of it or in the middle of it or in the back of it, however you want to look at it. That's not something that everyone in the final three can say.
All right, I think that's time to move on to the next phase. We're going to talk to Kayla here. She was all over the place, was great to watch. I think it's rightfully so to announce a couple award winners right before we get into Kayla here. I'm going to knock out a few in a row here. First off, favorite episode title. It did go to Kayla. I got the Gangs of Swag right here, episode 2, with the idol. Finally, opening it up, even though she had it for a round, which was awesome. It was fun to see someone who doesn't know a ton like learn on the spot. I got to do a better job of next time I do a newbie season, kind of explaining some rules with idols and things like that. So, and maybe ball drop, ball reveal or whatever, but that's all right. So Kayla won that for favorite episode title. Played most chaotically. Kayla, come on, by a landslide. It wasn't even a close vote, really. I think just everything all at once with looking for idols. She found a couple of things, which was awesome, and it was fun to watch. And then one more I'll reveal, which was Kayla that won it. It was the most memorable moment of the season was Kayla drawing the rock and accidentally revealing it. So Kayla, congrats on winning those couple awards. So just touch base on your game, the rock draw, just everything you want to talk about. Let's get into it here because I think you're a big face and figure for the season, and it seemed like the audience absolutely loved you. So.
Oh my gosh, thank you. Well, I just need somebody to confirm those superlatives are great, but I just need to know if I'm anybody's mom's favorite player. That's the only hearts I want to bring home tonight. The audience members, except
fan favorite and player of the season, I'll announce towards the end.
Oh, okay, great. So, yeah, I mean, everything was super fun. I just wanted to say I'm the only player that didn't get voted out, from this entire season. So I think I did wear
There's
that
a
with,
couple more.
yeah, there's a couple
3 more, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, besides like the winner and stuff, Nolan, at least I'm not falsely taking credit for getting people out, but that's okay. I rest on my own laurels that exist.
I
But
mean, we can talk about this later, but we are the reason why you went home, so we can.
right, same thing with like the balls that were inside that chest that was
The balls
held.
don't happen without us. The balls don't happen.
And the double vote, which is honestly a good play, but again, I give you credit for where
At
it was.
least I played my advantage correctly. Actually,
Hey, Nolan, can you just shut up and let Kayla speak, please? Like,
Joe,
this is Kayla's moment, you're ruining it. Can you just let Kayla speak and not interrupt?
Can you stay in the pre-jury? Kayla and I are talking. Thank you, please.
Oh my God. Well, thank you all. Honestly, running pink was super fun. Was great that it was segmented in the way it was. I think that we had some great characters and the switch up of having some chaotic people on pink, it made it hard, but I think that leading a team of underdogs honestly makes me think that my game was that much stronger. Like I learned so much more this season because I had to like fight teeth and nail for every single round that I had to go through. It wasn't easy coasting. And so, if anything, it brought me a lot of pride to say, like, I went into a game of a mock game show that I knew nothing about. And not only did I have all the odds stacked against me of like physicality of the rest of my team, was not on the same team as the one person that I kind of wanted to be with. The team saw me even as a threat from round one. So the fact that I was able to overcome all of that and make it to merge and then hopefully then some, like who knows what round I would have gotten out on had not picked the wrong ball. I'm just really glad that I was able to do all that. Did not even expect an end game strategy because I didn't know I'd make it that far. So it was pretty fun. I honestly learned from some really fun seasons of watching the show. So I did kind of try and over aura farm maybe a little bit too much. Just those were the idols that I had from watching the show before. So I think that kind of peaks a little bit, and that's probably why I played as chaotic. And then yeah, I think that I just learned a lot, but don't mean to cause any trouble. Nolan, I thought that your game was pretty great, and I actually have some thoughts on like who the winners were and who wanted to work with me at the end. I think had I had more info, my vote would have changed, but at the end, I really do think that it came down to tribal speeches. So I just wanted to say that before we get any bad blood with some arguments that we start.
All good, all good. Whatever happens today, Kayla, I'm still a fan of you.
Okay, same here, Nolan.
But I don't think you played good. But we're just gonna leave it at that. Sorry.
It's okay, Nolan. It's because Sam won at the end of the day, so you can cry all you want on the way home.
Period.
Right.
So Dolly!
How many votes did you get in final tribal, Kayla? Oh yeah, 0.
Say it again, Nolan. My best friend was laughing.
I said, how many votes did you get at Final Tribal? 0.
I probably would have gotten them all for you. All you guys voted, raised your hands when you thought that you guys had my vote. So like, who played the game better? I think that I would have. Anyway, I'm not gonna.
I want to dive into that because Jake, I know we heard from you briefly before, but let's talk about that because Kayla kind of brought it up. Let's talk about one of the best little jury intros I've seen, honestly, like in our game, where you had them all kind of just predict who they thought they were getting their vote from the jury before it started. What kind of made you think to go that way? And yeah, with everything with that, if you want to touch base on that.
Yeah, I've actually had that question asked to me before, and it kind of threw me for a loop when I had to answer it because it really puts you on the spot. And again, like when people are sitting there and claiming that they understand, where people are gonna vote, and no, it's I played a social game, I played the best game, I know what everybody's thinking, sort of thing. It's like, well, let's put it to the test here, let's see. And then also it kind of like with me going first, it was like the perfect opportunity because there were some people who were kind of in the middle, not really sure who they wanted to vote. And so at this point, it kind of gave you something to kind of start with, something to kind of work with. And, it's very interesting when you see all three people raise their hand for, the same person, because it's like, ooh, two of you fuckers are wrong. So like, how are we gonna figure that out? Or if like nobody raises their hand for you, then it's like, oh, okay, then that's like really interesting too, because it's like, then what could you have done better to make yourself more confident in like my vote? So I always thought it was a creative way to start.
I think it got things going. We've had in some of our past seasons, not really 7 and 8, but I think some people didn't really like. We're just voting on who they like the best, which people can do that if they want at the end. But I like people thoroughly thinking who played the best, what the best means to them. So that was awesome to see. To tie in with Jake again, real quick, we have a viewer question I actually sent in when I did the polls. So Jamil and Kayla, do you guys have regrets choosing Jake over Dan, knowing that Jake ultimately goes home right away? I know you guys are down in numbers. Maybe it still would have been Dan instead of Jake there. But do you guys have any regret there in choosing Jake over Dan?
I'm gonna go first if that's okay, Jamil.
Yeah, go ahead.
So I didn't see any reason. Jake, I love you so much. I didn't see any reason why we should keep Jake over Dan. And we even see in the show Jake kind of like selling his soul and being like, guys, Yellow, like I'm feeling desperate. I really want to work with you guys. Dan, I knew would have been loyal to us. And I felt like he had better propensity to work with us and just to be more valuable. Jake, I don't know. And so I would always question Jamil for wanting to keep him. I think it was one of those things where I knew I was newer to the show, so I trusted Jamil's judgment here. I wish I would have put my foot down maybe a little bit more.
I guess to say, I think hindsight is just 2020 because I think regardless of we see how it plays out. Like Yellow stays strong no matter what at that final 10. I think, who's to say that if Dan's there instead of Jake, like I'm not the person that's voted out at final 10, or Dan's just the one voted out there instead. Like I still think no matter what, like if we think about the idol play, like if everything plays out the exact same and just Dan's there instead, a Pink still goes home regardless at the end of the vote. And like I said, it could have been me at the end of the day. So I mean, I don't think really it changes much seeing how it played out.
I feel like the only way that they should have really like regretted it probably is if I would have won that immunity, if I would have held on a little, like a couple seconds longer and won that, because if I won that, it probably would have been Jamil going home that round instead of me if I had to guess there.
I heard from a certain person on the Yellow Tribe that if Pink were more united at merge, they may have been more willing to flip on the Yellow Tribe. So, Jamil, I don't know if it would have necessarily been a guarantee there would have still been a Pink going home first if I were there.
Well,
just saying.
To be
Who's
fair,
that little bird?
the narrative there, Dan, though, like if you see the edit, most of that whole like rivalry of Pink is people pitting Joe and Kayla against each other. It's not really me and Jake in that kerfuffle. It's more of like, oh, Joe and Kayla hate each other, blah blah. Which it doesn't even come through very like as a hatred for one another. I just think that Yellow was just stirring some bullshit up.
Oh no, Jimmy, do you want to chime in on that?
I would love to. I would have considered it, yeah, if you guys didn't come in and immediately like flip on each other. I was considering it ASAP just for
They also
because
didn't say any names. How are
yeah,
you gonna
that's
win a
a
bargain by
thing.
You
not
guys
saying
That's a
low-key
anything?
thing.
played
Yeah.
that
You
round
approach
so
someone with all the power. This is negotiations
Yeah.
101, not to be
you guys
condescending, but
played
you
that
guys sit
round
there saying,
so
who do we
poorly.
vote?
Yeah, but the
Yeah.
problem is like we don't know which one of you we can poach and who we can trust with
Okay,
information.
That's right.
You gotta
That's
try.
right. That's
If you
good.
know,
Try
if you know
something.
where you were going home,
I
you
mean,
gotta
in
throw
all
up a Hail Mary.
fairness, I did kind
You
of
can
say
get
things
mad
to
all you want.
Jimmy
I don't think
Kayla.
anybody
I know.
anything changes there. I mean, we tried to
Jake
get
tried.
Tony in, and of course, two-turn Tony wasn't turned enough for us. So.
He's a bit too turned to be here, though. That's for sure. I'll say that.
Yeah.
Question for Tony. Speaking of Tony, he is the award winner for playing the most calm. I think it came off like that. Honestly, obviously that moment created so much stir. Like I can't believe he said that. It's just hilarious how it seemed like he came off so cocky in that moment, but he had no clue that he was being like that. He was just so loyal. To go into going back to Veve say a bit, there's an interesting question that did get asked as well. Let's say roles are reversed with the tribes. Let's say for some reason, some way, somehow, Failout Mood just keeps winning challenges, and there's only 3 Veve says left. Who do we think that would have ended up being? I know we saw 3 get to the end, but I'm saying more so earlier in the game. Who do we think? What 3 would have stuck together the most out of you guys?
Me, Quentin Vincent, 100%. At 6, we're using the extra vote, taking out one
Yep.
of Jimmy, Sam, Tony, and we run it. It's
The only way it's not is if Sam's able to guess who we're voting for at
yeah.
6 and play as idol for that person.
I
That's
think
the
Sam would
only
have voted with us.
He would have. I think he would have voted with us though at that.
Right.
6.
Yeah, I
I
agree.
think if
The 4 of
we-
us were talking.
Yeah, I think if we go to Sam and say we're voting out Jimmy at 6, I
Sorry,
think
Pastor.
we
He's
would
saving
go.
his idol, especially if we're gonna
I would have pushed Tony there. I don't know if I would have voted Jimmy right away, honestly, in that moment.
I don't think you
I
would
like
have
Tony in the
in the
pre-merge.
merge.
I think either way, regardless, it would be you 3 unless I played the other correctly at some point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then it
Yeah.
would be a combination of me and the other 2, likely.
No,
Well, we
I
probably
think it
have to
changes
vote- we
everything.
have-
Yeah. It
We
changes
have to vote
everything.
Sam
if you-
out at 6 or 5 because if Sam has the idol at 4, then we go back to tribal at 4. Sam.
No,
is
he's saying
obviously playing
pre-merge.
He's saying
so-
pre-merge. I
Yeah,
think
that's what I'm talking about.
I don't. But what I'm saying is like I don't think you play the idol correctly at that 6 because realistically you're gonna keep it for yourself. There's no way at that point in time you're playing it for Jimmy or Tony.
Well, yeah, I'm not saying I would play it at 6. I'm saying that if I, at some point during those 3 votes, I played it correctly, then it would change.
Right. But we could just split a vote at the next one and then potential or
Okay. I
Like-
look, I'm saying this as a pure hypothetical on whether or not if I would do something right or not. If I wouldn't do it right, then it would have been you 3. If I did play it right, it would have changed. That's all I'm saying. And that's a props to you 3 for getting such like a tight alliance group going in so early on. Like,
Well, we didn't walk in with friends, but we made alliances in the game. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
we didn't vote out our best friends.
That didn't
first
work out
round.
either. Yeah.
He voted out his
Let me
mom.
Yeah, it
clarify.
really worked out
You can-
anyways.
You can bring a
so.
friend in the game. It don't work at all, buddy. It clearly didn't work.
All right, so I think, I think that probably would have ended up happening with you 3, outlasting the rest. Is there anything you guys kind of want to just go into? I know we've heard a lot from y'all. They did dominate the game. Were there the longest, but is there any things that have been eating away at any of you guys that you want to touch base on? We'll do this for a little bit and then can get to a couple more awards and then just keep going with some topics you guys want to talk about.
Yeah, I'd love to take a quick poll of the jury. So how many of you regret your vote? Like honest to God, like you won't be hurting anyone's feelings.
Start raising hands because some of y'all know you're lying.
Hold on,
if you
hold
don't
on.
Raise your hand.
No. I
Here,
want
let me
to.
ask this better. Who would anybody change their vote watching everything back now from what they voted?
Watching
Great.
things back, yes, but we didn't watch it in the moment. Like that's
Right, but
that's kind of
that-
what I'm saying as I was watching it. I think as I watched back, and Sam, we can talk about this, but there were certain points where I'm like, you can push back, whatever, but I was like, why is we like need Kayla and Joe right now? Why is like Sam sitting on a bench making people come to him? Watching it back was driving me crazy. And so that's why I was like, okay, Nolan and Vincent were like doing a ton of legwork. And then I felt like I thought you were maybe doing a little bit more outside of our conversations. And so that was really frustrating to watch back. Now, I will say that's watching though. In the moment, like perception does mean everything. And so that is just a reality that I think we have to consider as we talk about this. So that's why I say like regret is a hard word to handle, if that makes sense.
Your texts say otherwise, but
I mean, yeah. Also, at
No,
the watch party, also says otherwise.
that is not true. Jamil, you were talking to people in second chances during the watch party. We didn't even talk, buddy.
No. Don't start
Wait
swinging the
till
subject
Thursday for
here.
that. Wait till Thursday for the cast reveal with that, folks.
God, I hope Jamil gets snubbed and doesn't even get put on.
Jamil's on production, just to be clear.
Can I clarify something as well, real quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
Fair enough. It's like you said, it is different during the game and outside the game. At least for not approaching people as much. This is a bit of backstory going into the game. I found this out that I had COVID maybe 5 days before the game and only got better Wednesday or Thursday. And so what happened, and I tested after the fact and I was fine before I left. I wanted to make sure I was fully good before I left, obviously. But I gotten fully sick, like going up to the game and got on a flight, no sleep, get to the game. I am physically and mentally exhausted. I cannot move. My body is like betraying me the whole season, and which is why a lot of times you'll see me more so taking the back seat approach, is because I am feeling like complete dog shit the whole time.
I mean, I'd like to say I had a pretty long night the night prior to the game as well, and I had a pretty good time leading up to the game, but I still, put in the social leg. So I don't think that's like a valid
I
excuse.
did what I had to do. Like, that's not me saying I didn't sit back and let the game go by.
No, I know, but
I
you
didn't
kind of
just
did kind of imply that
the
because of
difference.
your COVID that is now just coming out months later, that's the reason why you didn't play as good of a social game as me.
That's not what I said.
No, I didn't say. I said, so you're implying.
No. What I'm implying is that I wasn't stepping up and walking over to people more as an active player because I was feeling sick. That's
which
all.
which is a leg of the social part of the game, is what I'm saying.
Okay.
So you agree with me after this is what I'm losing brain cells right now.
I don't care too much if I'm being honest.
I'm going back to the question. I want to address this as a jury.
Yeah, Joe,
Like, I would not have changed my vote. In fact, Nolan, like you said something about like it was like a Gabler vote, and I totally disagree with that. Like that was a bitter jury, and this was not a bitter jury. I think that we voted for who we thought played the best game. And I mean, to be honest with you, Nolan, had we had more conversations, I maybe things could have been different between us, but I don't believe I made a Gabler vote in the end, and I think I voted for who I thought played the best game.
Wait, why were you saying that I played the best game at Final Five? Joe?
Wait, you saying you played the best game? Because I was
No,
trying
I'm
to
saying
figure
that
out.
those are your words. Those are your words.
Yeah. No, I was trying to stay alive at that point. I needed
So I weren't trying about
anything to
Sam.
do.
If you believe Sam was playing the best game at that point.
Yeah, because he was in my alliance with Jimmy, and we had, in my mind, I had locked in a final three with them. So
Okay.
what I wanted to do was get Vincent out because I knew going into 4 that I had the best chance against Nolan in a final 3. Because I do think you played better.
Thanks. But yeah, I just wanted to see, okay, why would you turn on Sam? But that makes sense. I'm glad I asked.
Can I ask a question to Jamil, Kayla, and Jake? So, and Joe, this is no disrespect. I really like you as a person, but I just think you were just kind of an extra number the entire game for the most part because you were outside that core 3. So, outside of Joe being an OG pink, Jamil, Kayla, and Jake, I'd love to know why you would vote for him to win the game over any of the other yellows, in my opinion.
Emil didn't vote for me.
No, for Joe, if Joe was in final 3.
Like if Joe made final 3.
I mean, I'll clarify. I don't think I was gonna go vote for Joe had it came to the final 3. I mean, I think obviously like people thought that obviously the pinks were just gonna vote for a pink because the pink gets to the end. I said it on my when I got voted out, I was looking for the person that's gonna play the ballsiest game, the game that made the most moves, the flashiest game, and that's what I voted in the end. Nolan, is obviously for you because you were very upfront, vocal, and people still didn't find the need to vote you out or target you for whatever reason. And I was like, this guy's doing a master class. Like, what the hell is going on? So I don't think I vote for Joe in the end, regardless, because I truly do believe that you were obviously handling the merge very well. Where, I mean, Joe was playing a survivalist game. He played the game that he had to play, but I was looking for moves and you were presenting those to me. I mean, alongside Vincent, but you just were more flashy with the moves.
Well, no one asked really many questions to me during the jury phase, but flashy jury questions, each their own.
Perception's key.
I would have voted for Joe because Yellow coasted for a long time. Joe didn't, and then once Joe and I did the idol swap, I said, "Okay, this is ballsy. Like this is enough to be able to win compared to you guys." And additionally, like he didn't get carried by being a Yellow, and it's smaller to be voted out and then come back in and then win a game.
And like for me, like I said at the beginning, Joe is one of the first people that I like really vibed with and connected with. So to see him like make it all the way to the end, that would be just as good as almost like me making it to the end. And plus by the time like when I was voted out, like nobody on Yellow really wanted to play the game at that point. So for Joe to get to that point, like especially like knowing that me, Kayla, and Jamil were all gonna be on the jury like inevitably, and like he somehow like makes his way like to the end there, I would have had to respect that there. And then plus honestly, like me saying that I just really didn't want anybody on fucking Yellow to win because they were boring as shit. So
Yeah, that's totally fair. I was just curious if that was the reasoning or if there was more backstory to it.
Also,
Yeah.
Nolan, I would say out of you, Sam, and Vincent, you were the one to least work the room in the room of pinks. And so eventually you have to look at long game of, are you even talking to the pinks if you did
I
really
didn't
think.
need you guys. I was so well insulated with Yellow where like for my sake, like I could be your friend, but I didn't need to talk game with you because I didn't want to screw myself.
But
with
then
all
don't
the-
question why Sam won, because I'm telling you right
Yeah,
now.
that's like a jury management thing, man. Come on.
You
Yeah,
need
there
them
are
to
that's
vote for you to
another-
on
win.
that jury.
I can manage you socially. I don't have to play with someone for them to vote for me to win.
But you
though.
I think
have
she's
to
saying you
get-
didn't manage her socially.
Yeah, there
Right?
are 4 pink votes on that jury. You have to get some of them to win.
I did actually. I did get a couple pink
That's
votes.
true.
just not enough.
I want to hear what Dan and Nick have to say here. We haven't heard about them. We're talking about pink.
Yeah,
earlier,
I actually
so I
have
want to
a-
hear their insight.
Why.
I first have Christian. I was taking a viewer question from our chat. Christian did ask Nick, who was your favorite player to watch post merge? So maybe that can kind of tie into what your perception was watching everything play out.
Yeah, that's a good question. Because, yeah, I mean, Dan and I watching from the sidelines, like it was hard to watch the Yellow Tribe make their way to the end because I never spoke to any of them. And so the only aspect of the game I was seeing was Tribal Council, just watching from the sidelines. I didn't know any conversations that people were having. So, like, quick side note, like Quentin, for example, I straight up thought he was doing absolutely nothing. And when he got voted out, I was like, why did they target him? That's so random. But so Quentin, shout out because you played a very like strategic game and you were very under the radar. So when I was watching it, I was like, oh shit, like he was a good player. But
Thank you.
what was the question? I already forgot.
Your favorite player to watch from the
Oh yes.
not playing.
Yes. Okay. I'd say my favorite player, I would have it tied between Jimmy and Kayla. I think Jimmy, although I just said like I was only seeing Tribal Council, I could still tell like the strategic game that you were playing. And obviously you're very charismatic, you're very likable, and when you're talking to people, it seems very genuine. And you had some comedic moments, a couple zingers that you said in during Tribal Council. So, and then as for Kayla, pure entertainment. Kayla, I literally lost my shit when you had the mic in your hand and you literally just started running around. You're just like, guys, where's the idol? And oh my God, I was cracking up. I thought it was hilarious. And you did find two idols, and whether or not like you played them correctly, I mean, that's a hard thing, but it's still the fact you found them, meaning that another person couldn't get it. You know what I mean? Like that still has some value. So, yeah, I enjoyed both of you guys. I think both of you did a fantastic job, played great games.
Who are you mad at the most?
Who am I most mad at?
Yeah.
Really?
Let's wake it up.
And see, honestly, like when I said earlier that I blew up my own game, like that is seriously so genuine. Like I don't, there wasn't one person who was just like, oh my God, we have to get Nick out, you know? Like Jamil, yes, he voted for me, but it was very clear he wanted to work with me. It's just, yeah, okay, I was at the bottom of the totem pole, you know, not much I can do about that. Dan, I didn't really talk to, no shade, Dan. Um, it's just what happened. And like, I mean, Kayla didn't steer me wrong, so. Honestly, I'd say Julie, because technically Julie was the person who was like, well, Nick said he could do the puzzle and he didn't, which is true. So I don't even blame her that much. But truly, not there's no beef. I really don't have beef with anyone.
Dan, why is Julie not here?
Good question. I can't really comment for her. She's been busy and she said she hasn't been able to watch all the episodes. That might have something to do with it. She's got a new job, but
Okay.
And why didn't you work with Julie more? Why didn't you bring her into anything?
well, yeah, because going in, it was such a focus that I didn't want to have anyone know that I knew Julie, and I was really successful at that, but forgot about the part where I should have actually talked to her and strategized with her. And when our final three that came into being right at the start of the game, I just felt really loyal to you guys and didn't. I was like, maybe I can bring Julie in later, but we didn't have later when we kept losing. But obviously, I should have since my final three didn't mean shit. So.
Jamil, did you hear that? He was more loyal to us, people he just met, than the bridesmaid of his wife. I just need that to be noted.
I mean, you know, it is what it is. I mean, I don't think Julie would have been a strong force later in the game. Obviously, like she was very blunt, which we obviously saw, and sometimes that can be a liability in the game. So, you know, it is what it is.
All right. So I think there's been some great conversations. We can still dive into things. I think we should award the big two winners of the night, player of the season and fan favorite. And then I'd love to just kind of keep it going and you guys can get everything off your chest. It's kind of open ended. I mean, I don't have a ton of questions left. I know there's been a lot of talk in the group chat and everything that we have. So I want to give you guys the floor after these two awards to kind of just talk what's been eaten at you since the season ended and watch some episodes. So, first up, we're going to do the fan favorite. Ben won last season by a landslide from season 7, New Blood. Very active in the chat. Appreciate it, Ben. So, this one, I'll be honest, it wasn't even close. The fan favorite of Survivor Wisconsin season 8, Calm vs. Chaos, pays to be pink, Kayla.
Let's go.
We're not even surprised. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. We knew it.
Sir Dolly voted.
What would you like to say? Your mom's favorite player.
Guys, I'm back. It's your mom's favorite player. Ring, ring, ring. I'm there now that your mom confirmed I'm your mom's favorite player. That's what I wanted. I came in to get. I stole your mom's heart.
Oh yeah, you did.
Might come for your dad too.
Period. Yes, she is.
Thanks for voting, guys. That was awesome. Awesome. I'm so glad. Feel like I won.
Congrats. I mean, I voted for you. I think there's a ton of entertaining players like throughout. Like, there's a ton of people to root for. Whether people think Sam deserved to win or not, I mean, the chat. I mean, it could be people voting for whatever, but there's 18 people in the chat that voted yes, he did. Sam deserved to win. I think Sam's story was entertaining. Him getting emotional, seeing that through. Nolan, obviously, how blunt he is, doesn't give a fuck, you know, which is great to see. And he played a very good game. And I think I'll get into it in a little bit, Nolan, but I think when Jimmy was fighting for his life there at the right before he got out, I think your points that you brought up to Jimmy was, I think, the best thing you did all game, personally, from what I saw. Jimmy, obviously, you were entertaining as hell as well. A lot of you guys were. I'm not trying to just pinpoint a few, but Jamil, I feel like we got to see a lot of you because you guys kept freaking losing. Jake had some quick, funny moments as well. Nick, I thought was funny as well. I mean, everybody was great in their own right. Joe was like such a big hero and great person to have on. Who else in it? Vincent. His big moment was probably winning that Final Four challenge, which was awesome to see. Final three, and was definitely. I didn't realize how funny you were, Vincent, just watching it back because I didn't see it face to face a couple times. But so Congrats, Kayla. So now we'll get to the big one of them all, the player of the season. Last season in Survivor Wisconsin, season 7, New Blood. Tyler won, who got 4th place. This one, another landslide. And again, it was our 4th place finisher. Jimmy, congratulations.
Thank you. I should probably change my name for my speech, but no, I thought that this cast was really, really incredible. So this feels like a big honor. Clearly, like not going to tribal early in the season, we all admitted that was a real benefit to my game because they clocked me as a threat early. That pastor is a little sus, bro. And so I'm thankful that I got to actually play the game and have a lot of fun and make a lot of friends along the way.
Yeah, I think you kept winning those immunities, what helped you, but I mean, dive into Nolan. I mean, that final 4, Jimmy's finally able to be voted off, and you pretty much just hit it on the head why you got to vote him out here. And I honestly think people should have recognized that more when you were pleading your case to win the game.
Yeah, I mean, I think that was the first time where people were like, "Oh shoot, like he's not just the funny guy." You know what I mean? Like I think I don't know. The vibe thing's a bit corny. I think we can put that to rest. But I think like the whole persona I was trying to put on was the funny guy. But when I needed to turn it on, that was the first time I had to turn it on in front of everybody. I would turn it on in my small conversations with people when I had to, but that was the first time that I really had to do it in front of everybody. And like Jimmy's pitch was good, but in my mind, I was like, look, all I have to say is this, and he's going home. You'd be an idiot to let Jimmy go to final 3 with you. And luckily, Vincent and Sam decided they didn't want to be idiots and they wanted to go to final 3 with me. So
there was no pitch to be had, though. I mean, like, there's no universe where I'd make any
no,
other choice than what I did.
I completely agree with you.
Not,
but
I'm not disagreeing with you, but I'm just saying, like, I just didn't say anything in the moment because I wanted to preserve suspense. You're welcome, Mr. Devin. I was preserving suspense and not just telling Jimmy to say he was going to go, and he was. Yeah, there was no pitch, but I love an attempt. So
yeah, Jimmy's gonna love this.
Jamie.
But taking Jimmy to final 3 would have been like the equivalent of like Mackenzie taking Chelsea to final 2 and Big Brother 26. So, and I know Jimmy's
totally
gonna
get that. Totally get that.
It's like Wu bringing Tony and Kagian.
Yeah. No,
I don't know if you want to glaze. I don't know if you want to glaze on that.
No, let's keep going. No, come on.
No,
Who's next?
No,
Jake, haven't heard from you in a while about me.
Crazy.
Just kidding.
Jake played with you for all of like 10
Jimmy
minutes.
needs this for his ego. Oh man.
I do.
Me too.
Vincent, kind of watching it back. And again, I wasn't trying in the beginning make you defend your game, and you don't need to. But was there a combination you think watching it back that maybe you would have had a better chance to win the way it played out? And I mean, because people clearly are not giving you the flowers you deserve. Because I think you played very well too. Like seriously.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, I'd love to know why everyone's giving Nolan credit for keeping his extra vote so long when he wanted to waste it right away at the merge. And we see that on screen. We see that in the conversation that convinces him to keep it because we need to take it out, use it later for Jimmy and Tony to get them out. But can't give credit where credit can't be given. So I'm proud of my game. I'll take the list of as the Caroline Vidmar of the season. I was silently pushing names out, getting who I needed out, and dominoes always fell in my order. Yeah, I had a good time, and I'm leaving here with my head held high.
Yeah.
What was the question?
Some may say you need a second chance, Vincent, but that's just.
What was the question?
I guess was there like a combination watching it back that in the final 3 with you that maybe you would have gotten more votes, you think, just based on people how they voted?
I think it's a conversation, combination of different final 3 people.
Yeah, that maybe people would have voted for you more based on how they're acting and perceiving things.
Unfortunately, I believe I played the best game out of the entire cast, so I think sitting next to anyone, I win. But I mean, like, I don't think the jury necessarily awards me the win, but I feel like I win. Do I think I played?
Jimmy? Yeah.
I love it. I love the confidence, dude. I think you spoke very well. I think you and Maddie in season 7, you guys spoke, like, from me not like knowing a ton that what happened in the game, spoke almost the best, I thought. And you guys both got 3rd place. And I was like, come on, let's get a little more recognition.
Jealousy is a disease, and apparently so is COVID.
Is there anything else you guys want to touch on? I think we touched through a lot of things. Congrats to the winners. I know there's more things that are eating alive at some of you guys. If you want to say it, let's get to it. Hey,
Nolan, this is your segment.
Hey, Vincent, I think that not a lot of us are ballsy and we want to be nice, but I think that for everyone who I've talked to that regrets their vote, they voted you. And I feel like you should know that before, all of us die.
Wait, everyone that regrets vote. I don't
I think
understand.
your fellow pastor would push back on that, and I have text proof for that, but that's okay.
I mean, it really is like everybody, what do you value in who you vote for? Like, I do think Vincent played, like, once again, played very similar a game that Nolan did. Nolan just was more of the voice piece of the duo. Like,
I've already explained the offense defense thing. I don't know if I need to explain that again because I don't
yeah,
know.
no, that's kind of what I was going into. Like, I think, like, do you value the more vocal in a duo, or do you the silent assassin kind of thing?
I don't know if offensive needs vocal necessarily, but
I mean, to each their own. Like,
I was running having conversations the whole time.
All right, that's it. I mean, I'm trying to give you your flowers, but if you don't want your flowers, I mean, all yours. Floor's yours.
Sorry. Oh.
Next.
Well, I want to hear some tearing down of my
I
my
love
game.
to hear people fight.
Well, of my game though.
Oh.
Because Stibe had a question.
I think your biggest blind spot in your game was the Tony vote, and also how you could have handled that significantly better.
Yeah. Well, I know Sam was like, I handled it differently than Jimmy. I intentionally. Yeah. Well, I intentionally acted mad to Joe and Kayla because I wanted them. Well, like, I was mad too, just to be clear. But I did show them I was mad because I wanted to show them, like, this is real. I wanted to work with them. But that didn't matter in Final Tribal, like, for me to say that. Well, Stibe said something to the effect of, like, if you guys were in Final Tribal with me, how would you have, like, tore my game down to get more votes, essentially, which I think is a really interesting idea.
Wait, can you repeat the question?
I don't know Stibe's exact words, but he said, if you made it to the Final Tribal with Jimmy, what would you have said in order to discredit his game or something like that?
I don't think there's anything I could have necessarily said. I don't think I get more jury votes than Jimmy. But I do think pitching the fact that we voted on the right side of the numbers more than Jimmy is pretty inarguable, and, like, empirically it's the fact that we voted correctly more and had more autonomy over the game.
But that was once, right? Outside of my own vote.
I mean, it's one more than you voted, but
twice.
Yeah, but
no, also the Rocks vote. Technically, if you count that, sorry for those trigger warning that get bothered by the Rock vote, but you were on the wrong side of that. Those that are on the wrong side get triggered. That's okay.
Well, in Rocks, we're all on the wrong side then,
and
right?
you were kind of led astray by me, like, throwing Quentin, saying Quentin was pushing you hard at the Tony vote, and that is what kind of led you to target him a little bit.
Oh, totally. I thought that was great. Yeah, no, that was a great move. Yeah.
These are the pitches I would make. I do not think I would have got more votes than you. So it makes you a better player, then it makes you a better player. But
I also agree. Like, I genuinely meant, like, when like my pitch back, like, I do think you sweep, and I think everybody knows you sweep. So, like, I don't think that, like, you need to be self-glazed anymore. I feel like you just kind of
at
this point.
I did not mean to turn this into a glazing, just to be. I know I usually do, but not this time. I actually wanted to hear pushback, so that was good.
Well, I've got to say, I mean, I think, Jimmy, your biggest flaw in your game is that you put yourself in a position where the only way you possibly win the game is by winning 4 immunity challenges in a row, and that's just probably not going to happen, because everybody knew that if you didn't win the last immunity challenge, you were going home. I mean, I know there was drama, but I didn't doubt for a second that you were going home at the Final Four. So that was my main critique. I mean, I don't know. Well, I mean, I'm not saying you should have thrown immunity challenges, but I'm just saying I don't think there's any world where you win the game unless you win that last immunity challenge.
Actually, we'll talk offline. This isn't interesting to anyone else because I have questions for you.
Sure.
I think we'll give Richie one question in the chat. He's probably been a patient guy tonight. He said, for Dan, Nick, or Joey, if you guys all want to answer quickly, it's up to you. I would say if you all, I think this is a better out of his couple he asked. If you all got a jury vote at the end, who do you guys think you would have voted for out of the 3 and why? And it's tough because I'd like you can go based on the episodes and stuff because you guys didn't see the ins and outs of what was happening. So maybe that would be more applicable to you guys. Or maybe how their final tribal council went for you guys in person. Based on that, let's do that.
Is this like the three of us collectively get one vote, or if each of us
I'd
got
like to hear
vote?
each of you what you would have done, maybe.
Each of us? Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, what Jimmy was kind of saying earlier of like reality while playing the game versus actually watching the episodes where you do get to see everyone's conversations, that did end up changing my perception of the game. So I actually was gonna, while watching it in person, I would have voted for Vincent, actually. I thought Vincent was the most eloquent speaker. And me personally, I'm not the biggest fan of people just like going head to head arguing at each other. I think you can have a nice rebuttal to someone, but like when it's like throwing shade at people, it's not my cup of tea. I appreciated Vincent's answers. But watching it back, seeing the conversations, I do think I would have voted for Nolan.
I think it makes sense that considering there's a lot that doesn't make the final cut. But I watching the episodes, I would have voted Nolan too, I think. So I think that's fair. It's fair to be wrong sometimes.
So in the moment for me watching, I was still pretty bitter at the Yellow Tribe in general. Obviously, all three of you are yellow, but to me, Vincent and Nolan were more just embodied the whole undefeated vibe of yellow. And Sam felt like more of a pink ally to me. So in my heart of hearts, I wanted to vote Sam, and I still think that he played a good game too. I don't think anyone had a flawless game here. Watching back on the episodes from through a more strategic lens, I still don't think I would have voted Nolan. Sorry, buddy. But I think I may have leaned more towards Vince because I don't know. Vince was just kind of more of my vibe gameplay style wise. And I do think he had a good final tribal speech too that was just overshadowed in the moment.
Can't blame you. Like husband, like wife. I know Trinity told me she wouldn't have voted for me either.
Yeah. She's been saying that in the chat all night too.
Oh, I haven't even been looking at the chat once. I'm gonna be honest. I don't even know how to get to the chat.
Joey, yeah, it's a little different because this isn't streamer like we usually do. So it's you gotta go on the actual video and look. But Joey, if you wanna say yours.
Okay. Bias, I vote Sam because we're really good friends. It's kind of hard. It would be hard not to. Unbiased aside, which is probably the lens I view it. It's between Vince and Sam for me, because for Vince, his game was very much the game I would have hoped I could have played. Being, more of like not being out there, not being the main focus point of his alliance, but like still like making moves, like persuading people to do what he did without taking the blunt of the force. So I see that greatness in Vince's game. I think Sam's jury management was probably the best. And it really is hard to decide just by like watching it. And I'll be honest, I watched most of the episodes, but it's been busy. I haven't been able to watch 100% of it. So I'm not basing on that. But looking back at it, unbiased aside, I probably would still vote for Sam because of just I enjoyed his game more. Just thinking, like trying to work both sides. He was very well insulated with the pinks and yellow. Like, not, I don't see the only world I see Sam possibly going home is if the rock draw was different. That's kind of the only point I could see Sam going home, or if Jimmy wins Final Four. So that's just my.
I think too, Sam having double immunity really helped him too.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I mean, there was conversations immediately prior that said Sam was going to go home at the double tribal if he didn't have immunity.
Sam goes home at the double tribal if he doesn't have the immunity.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what happened, but there were conversations being had that I did not know about that.
I know the answer, but who does Zerdali vote for?
Out of the final three.
Zerdali, don't do this to me. Please,
Come on, Zerdali. You're going to be on one of these seasons anyways.
Have you ever unmuted before, Kayla? There we go.
Don't be mean.
my
Don't
first time
do
playing.
that. Don't do it.
You gave me the wrong
Right,
information.
I would have voted for Vincent just because I didn't know anything that was happening, but just from the energy that was coming from both Sam and Nolan, it was giving ugly. And I felt like Vincent was very kind and was giving someone that I like actually would be friends with. So that's where my bet was going to go.
And that's the only vote that matters, motherfuckers. Wrap the season up right now. Zerdali chooses the winner.
No. Oh.
I will say just because I knew what was happening because I drove Zerelli home. The one feedback I would have at final, I've told Vincent that I think he still downplayed his own game and was still goofy in final treble. I think Nolan and Sam, you guys scoffing at each other actually didn't necessarily help. And I know like you were feeling things in the moment. And then last bit of feedback for the final tribal.
What the fuck?
I don't mean this negatively. You guys are
crazy.
you guys are not muted.
Zerdali.
No. Oh, I thought you were talking shade without it.
No, I actually was. Zerdali wasn't. I was.
That's crazy, but
Sorry.
okay.
I'm sorry, Jimmy. I didn't mean to cut you off.
I forgive you. And then the last bit of feedback for Sam going into one is like talking about past games like was actually a turn off for me. I had no it like didn't impact me, and I think you probably realize that.
I realized that kind of sort of immediately after the fact, at least, because it's hard to like differentiate between things, and I'm building this narrative in my head of
totally
I want to get redemption, and in hindsight, I'm looking back, I'm like, that is one of the biggest mistakes I've made was even bringing up the fact that another show I got second place. I think that in and of itself was me trying to build a narrative out of something that wasn't there, and that is a regret, like truly. And I'm sorry if I genuinely turned off people from me voting me in that way. And if you did, then that I have to live with that, I guess. But yeah, no, truly.
I think it's totally cool to mention that you played past games. Like personally, like I love telling people I played Survivor Michigan. Like I love that. But when you come with the story and stuff, like nobody cares about that. Like you can say you played, you can say your placement, but then like leave it at that. Don't go into the whole past stories because like I mean, I maybe some people out here will like you'll never catch me watching your show as like I wouldn't expect you to ever watch me play. You know what I mean? Like personally.
Yeah, I mean, I think too. Obviously I'm like a little territorial with you guys and stuff, having you guys come on and everything. And everyone goes to and does a bunch of different LRGs. And you got to remember for our channel and our seasons, we only start opening up to people outside people we knew the last 2 seasons. So when people bring up other LRGs they play in, I'll be honest, I don't give two shits about it. Like, it's awesome you did well on it. It's awesome you maybe heard of it through that, like Jimmy did. But, I would only, and this is advice if any of you guys are playing in the future or for people that might play in the future that haven't played yet, is I'd focus on your game at hand and talk. You could talk about maybe if you played in a previous season of ours that maybe affected this or something like that. But I have to agree with that. I don't think that's the reason why people were turned off from you, Sam. I think it was more the arguing. I mean, I think Sam and Nolan came off a little bit arrogant, I think, and don't kill me for saying that, but I do think that. And once I got to get to know Nolan, especially more after, I get where he's coming from. But at first, I'm like, dude, this guy's got to relax a little bit. But I really appreciate both your guys' passion because watching it back, getting to know you guys both, I'm like, I would be the same way. If you guys happen to see me get out early in season 6, that I shouldn't have even played in, I guess. But I was just as mad as you guys were coming off a little bit too. So competitive nature, heat of the moment, I love it. And that's why I do think Vincent came off better. And that's why I thought he deserved more credit.
Well, they come off as
Or
arrogant.
not, that's open for opinion, but yeah.
I'm sitting there thinking, oh, I'm going to let them fight and everyone's going to hate them and I'm going to get the votes. And I sit there being silent. And who's the two that are getting the votes? Not me. So, I mean, you say they're coming off arrogant. I'm saying they're getting that's what gave them the votes, I think.
I don't regret being aggressive at all, especially with the perception that I was playing throughout the game. I think I had to show that I was going to be more aggressive at Final Tribal and show what was really going on. I think it probably hurt Sam's game more than mine. I think for me personally, I think me being aggressive at Final Tribal really showed people what I was up to. I don't regret that at all. The only thing I think I really regret at Final Tribal was not specifically stating that like I was on the right side of every vote. I never really said something like that in that form. And I think that would have really, really differentiated mine and Vincent's game from Sam's game in the sense where we were on the right side of every single vote, even with the little luck that happened at Final 7.
I think I wish I would have reminded people some things I did say things, and some of my people's memories were slipping or they weren't paying attention. So I should have been saying the same stuff over and over again, I guess.
I think there's a happy medium for sure. I mean, it's tough in the moment too. One day, so many things you're trying to think back to. People forget names. I mean, it happens. I mean, I knew all you guys' names, but there's a point where I'm like,
Don't gag me like that. Oh God.
Yeah, I
I
also
don't
wish
think
like
Richie knew
some
my
of the,
name, but
I also wish some of the jury like I guess like you can like a person like their game whatever, but like there's certain things I feel like that were said at Final Tribal. Like I'm genuinely curious like how much of the jury actually believes Sam's stress was gameplay and not for real. Like
It
how many
wasn't.
guys
It wasn't.
No, I know, but how many I know and I know and I called it crap in the moment, I call it crap now. I'm saying how many of the jury actually believed when he said that in the moment that it was strategy. I'm like genuinely curious about this.
I did not necessarily believe it in the moment. Yeah.
No, I didn't really believe it either.
yeah, no. I mean, I going into final tribal council, like I think I was kind of already on a mindset where I was gonna either vote Nolan or Vincent. So I didn't really care for it at all, like personally, in my opinion, kind of thing. But that's just kind of where I stood.
Yeah, I mean, I personally, Sam, honestly, I don't really care that you won. I think the winner deserves to win every season of Survivor. I think the jury votes how they vote in the moment, and we can look back on it after and say, maybe someone else should have won, but it's a 24-hour game. You have to make a decision really fast. So I think, like, props to you. You won in the moment. I thought at Final Tribal Council that you had basically lost the game when you talked about the stress, and also when there's one moment when you said at the rocks vote that like Nolan and Vincent were like desperate to get you to flip, and I knew that that was just flat out untrue, and then you got called out on it.
That was
And
untrue. Really?
100%. Nolan and Vincent had both told me before Tribal, they said, look, at least Nolan had said, I'm 100% going to rocks for you. I believed him.
It's
And
on camera. It's
at
in
Tribal
the
Council, I mean, I could tell at Tribal Council, both of them were locked in from the start because they had told me beforehand.
Obviously we were
There was
trying
no
to we were
shot.
trying to flip you for your own sake. Like you know how much of an idiot you look if you go home with an idol in your pocket. Like, but like just by you drawing rocks is just the same as the balls that me and Vincent and Kayla had for drawing rocks. So I
I mean,
feel like also you bringing that up in Final Tribal isn't really necessarily like your big like a big play for you because like we did the same exact thing you did.
I just want to attest to that as well. Fair enough. Fair enough. But truly, in my perspective, at the very time when the two of them came to me trying to flip their vote, I legitimately thought they were scared of rocks at that point. And then that might just be a genuine blind spot in the game for that. Uh, yeah, legitimate mistake
We were
there.
pitching to you because we thought you'd be scared of rocks. Like
I
we
was not
thought
scared of
that
rocks at all.
We
No.
were like you'd be an idiot to go home with the idol in your pocket. I mean, you're on confessional
I was
otherwise,
scared.
but
I will.
There's also something to be said about having to make split like second decisions and your brain is mush. Like looking at this from the outside, you don't even realize how many thoughts are going through your head in this moment. And you're like, am I going to rocks? Am I not? Like, are they going to flip? What, I passed the idol to Kayla because I was like, it's probably me, but maybe they will go to rocks. Who the hell knows? But the fact, and this is for anyone who plays any future seasons, a 1 day game is crazy. You guys like Survivor 101, don't go by yourself looking for idols and stuff. Kayla immediately goes and finds an idol, and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna sit at the picnic table. Well, I'm a dumbass for doing that. Like, all the rules go out the window in this game. So
I think that's a really great point. Like we keep talking about like optimal stuff and it's just like exhausting. So I would even say like Sam, I'm not knocking you for being nervous during the game. No one is. But I'm joking. But I think you just like had like not owning that it was real nervousness is what like bothered me in that moment.
And like to that point, like I think obviously at final tribal council, like I mean, the finalists can say whatever they want to get them to win the game, like regardless. Like I'm a juror that values like owning your shit. Like you have to own the moves you make, the shit you're doing, the failures that you have in the game, because that shows a vulnerability, and like I like that about a person's game. So like I want people to own it at the end of the day.
I mean, yeah, I'll say straight up, Final Tribal Council for me at least is a blur. Like I don't even remember half the shit I said because at that point in the game, I'm so emotionally drained and I'm so like in out of my body. It's like it feels like an out of body experience, even watching it back, that I definitely said some things at Final Tribal that weren't fully representative of what I said, and I think that's where I probably lost some people. But it didn't matter at the end. And I mean, look, the only reason I'm even bringing this up is because it's a point to grow, right? at least for myself, I can understand that I made some errors. I did some things right. I did some things wrong. And so next time, if that opportunity ever comes up again, whether it be here in Wisconsin or I'm not going to say anywhere else because I want to keep it Wisconsin, but if that opportunity ever comes up again, that's a point to really just improve on and to grow from.
I have a question then, I guess, for the jury, because like in my opinion, like I feel like I had to be more aggressive at Final Tribal based on perception. So how could I have gotten your vote without being aggressive at Final Tribal? Because I feel like there's no way for me to get your vote.
For me, I think you should have come to me at Final Five and you should have said, Vince and I are ready to go, Sam. And in that moment, had we worked together at least once and we had some kind of relationship, then maybe, that would have been the bridge that connected us.
My question was for final. What could I have said at Final Tribal? Forget the game. Forget what like me being aggressive at Final Tribal. What could have gotten your vote is my question. Because what I'm saying is I feel like my perception was I had to be aggressive to get your vote because you didn't understand my game.
You did have to be aggressive during Final Tribal. I 100% agreed with you earlier, and I agree with you now. I thought actually you had like Christian called it an A minus on the podcast. I would have called it an A. What I meant was like not necessarily aggressively like scoffing when Sam was talking. That was the one thing. So
That's what I was
aggressively,
talking about too.
yeah. Aggressively fighting for yourself was awesome. I thought you killed Final Tribal. But not necessarily aggressively like trying to
Put
say
someone's
that.
game down.
Exactly. Yeah. Or even if you did, don't do it while they're talking, I think is what I meant.
I don't think there's anything we could have done to get the jury votes. Honestly, I think we see right now, case in point, you have an aggressive approach in Nolan and you have a non-aggressive approach in me. Neither worked. Y'all bought what Sam was selling. Good for you, Sam. But I don't know. I don't think there's anything I could have done. I did the best I could. I really do. I think of that.
Yeah, I agree. I completely agree with Vincent. I feel like we both played phenomenal games as Sam did to win. But what I'm saying is like I feel like at the end of the day, clearly there's nothing we could have done. And I came out of Final Tribal when the votes were being read, like, holy crap, like I feel like I just had a really good performance in my opinion. So
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'll say I think a lot of
Take something away from that too. Like I know you're not agreeing with what we're saying, but take something with that. And I not trying to be rude, but take something away with that because maybe you'll get in that position again, and maybe you won't do a little bit of that, or maybe Vincent will talk a little more. Maybe you will in the moment win. So I agree. You couldn't have done anything differently, and aggressive or non-aggressive, you could go either way, but you can always learn from it. I mean, I'm going to ask you guys a question a little bit how I can learn to make this game better too. So I don't appreciate you just kind of scoffing that away. Just take something from it.
Frank?
no, absolutely. And I'm open to pre-gaming if people want to get in this position. Me and
And just to add on to that, Devin, I think it's just the jury that you're handed because I was a player that
Yeah.
Nolan literally didn't work with at all. And I ended up voting for him at the end of the day because I like that aggressive nature. So it really just depends on the jury you're dealt. Like every person is going to vote based on different morals and values of what they think is a winner. So, I mean, it's just who you're playing with, really.
I think that by the time we were listening to Final Tribal speeches, we craved authenticity, and like Joe was saying, our brain was mush. And I think you needed to read the room of like, who's the jury? They're authentic, calm, and like people who needed somebody to trust. And I think that Sam played at our heartstrings with his final speech, whereas you're like hitting us hard, giving us, all the things that kind of stress us out even more. That again, that's not to say that we should vote based on gameplay, and we kind of did, but Sam kind of hit on like every single angle a speech could go, and I think that served him really well. And he had the sob story. He told us for more or less whether it was true that he did everything strategically down to his anxiety, and I think that perhaps like you and Vincent had a little bit of a more narrowed speech, whereas Sam kind of just started pressing buttons.
I mean,
I brought up the bed
I
thing.
guess, but I feel like you said like you crave authenticity when like a lot of the things he said, as you just said, from better or worse, were not true. So I feel like that kind of contradicts itself. I also
But
think you said you wanted
perspective,
to,
we didn't know it wasn't authentic. He's just presenting it as authentic.
that's
Yeah.
just then your poor reads. Like I feel like Vincent then on the opposite side, like you said you craved calm. Vincent was calm during tribal. So like what were you craving then, I guess, in my opinion? Like were you just like I'm genuinely
I
curious.
think it was, and I hear you, and I'm not saying whether or not what Sam said was authentic. I think we kind of see him have anxiety in the confessionals, which couldn't have been strategic. But I think to what Joe was saying before of like going back to back to back in tribal in a 24-hour period, like we all went home with migraines just because of how much adrenaline we had, like hour to hour to hour. And Sam kind of gave us a this is my sob story, this is my hug with my words kind of thing that we kind of ate up because, again, look at the jury and how soft we were. And I think that you perhaps are coming at us too strong. And just to give you like another layer of what went wrong, again, just food for thought. I'm not saying that that's awesome gameplay, what either one of you did.
Wait, Joe, it looked like you said something to say unmuted. I wanted to make sure you had a chance to speak.
Yeah, no, I just wanted to agree with Kayla and say it's not our poor read, Nolan. Like it's your job to make us want to vote for you. And that's really what it comes down to.
Yeah, I guess maybe just next time, hopefully the jury will be full of villains rather than calm people.
You want me to announce something
for you.
on or no?
Yeah, that play work.
What announce what?
What's good?
Do you?
I didn't hear what you say.
You want me to announce something or no?
Yeah, go for it.
Announce it.
Wait, Devin, who are you voting for?
Oh, to win?
Wait,
Yeah,
give
you
me
didn't
one
share your
second.
vote.
So I think in the moment I would have voted for you, Vincent, and then watching things back, I see why Nolan. I saw why Nolan was so upset he didn't win and how he's been looking for answers, and I appreciate you doing that. So I do think in the moment I would have gone with Vincent actually, because I thought you spoke the best. There's so much stuff I don't know, so yeah.
I see Nolan's got the buff.
So couple is that it? You guys good for me to kind of close this off now? I think we covered a lot of things. I appreciate the people that came out from this season. You all put on a hell of a season, entertainment wise, gameplay wise. Great final tribal council. I mean, us nitpicking you, it's not personal, it's just what people thought, and you guys all three did like very well, like seriously. I mean, usually like I want to edit through some of the final tribal counts because it takes so long, but I wanted the viewers to see full transparency of what you guys are all saying. So good job to you guys and everybody involved. So yeah, so Thursday, this Thursday, me and Christian at 6 p.m. Central Time will be announcing our next season's cast for season 9, Second Chance, which is taking place in a couple weeks already. A 2-day season, so that's gonna be fun. We don't do two-day seasons often. Maybe we will more now that we've gotten a bigger following and more people want to play. So keep that in mind. But I think before we get to the last thing, I think there's 2 announcements I'd like to make for the following season, season 10, Survivor Wisconsin, Heroes vs. Villains 2, which will be our 20th overall season from our Whitewater ones and our Wisconsin ones. So there will be people coming back from Whitewater 2 and everything. This person, first off, we want on the Hero Tribe. I never even asked this person yet, so he's getting the invite on live on the reunion recap. I think we want someone to fly in all the way from ATL to be on the Hero Tribe. Joe, come on, we want you back.
Let's go. Let's go. Absolutely. I'm ready. Let's do it.
I know you didn't get the second chance call, but we had plans for you. So
no, not the second chance call, but Heroes versus Villains. I think that's amazing. I can't wait to represent, which I hope I'm the hero, at least according to Christian, I am. But no, that'd be awesome. Looking forward to it. And this was an amazing experience too. So props to you guys, Devin and Alex's and Richie and everyone on Prod. I really appreciate it all. And looking forward to it. Yeah, let's go.
Yeah, I'll text you later about what date we're thinking. We haven't even picked a date yet, but we want to start getting our people involved of who we want on and everything. I think we can do one more, and then I want to get feedback from you guys, how I can improve this game, how I can be better as a host. So I think we can announce one more. I think based on tonight alone, should be on the Villains Tribe. Nolan, you in?
I'm a villain?
Me?
Yeah, I'm in. Come on now. Yeah, I would love to come back, play again. Villains just have more fun, and that's what I like to do. I'm here to troll. I'm here to make moves. I'm here to have fun, and I would be elated to play again. I'd just like to give a quick shout out to you, Devin. Thank you so much for giving a chance for me to play. I know we kind of talked about before me applying and things like that, so I really appreciate that. I want to thank Christian, Richie, Alex, Stibe, Emma, Tyler, I guess Ben, and this amazing cast. Ben, if you're watching, I do believe that you should be playing again too, but I guess we'll find out.
We'll find out. Yeah, and again, for people watching, people that maybe didn't get the second chance call or not, just because I didn't reach out to you or let you know you're on or not, doesn't mean we don't want you back in the future. It's really tough decisions to make. But we got a lot of upcoming fun seasons. Christian did announce it in the last live that we are thinking of pushing back All Stars from 12 to a later date to get some more new players in this mix. It kind of depends how many people apply for 11. If we get a lot, we'll probably push it out a little bit. So just because you don't get asked for second chance, that doesn't mean like you're out of it. You know, a lot of people said no that we did ask already, which sucks, but it is what it is. But so Joe and Nolan, excited to have you guys on in 10. Hopefully we can figure out the date to make you guys be able to play and everything. But before we close things off really quick, don't feel bad if there's anything negative or not, but feel free to give me here some feedback how we can improve the game. I did this end of last time. We took some of that and I think we improved it for season 8. So is there any way I as a host or us as a whole can improve the game or the episodes or whatever you want to talk about? Feel free to add in. So
put a swap in.
Yeah.
I think that just, I mean, people were complaining about the game being boring. I think a swap would have just fixed that in the pre-merge. It wouldn't have been boring if
I'm gonna
there was a
say
swap.
I'm a new era Glazer, throwing some shot in the dark. That's all I have to say.
Oh, that's a good one.
Thanks,
I would say maybe just a variety of challenge. I heard that season 8 had a lot of like reused challenges from season 7. So just like a different variety of challenges, I guess, for like the viewers.
I think to add on to that, kind of challenge diversity in general is kind of, I'd say, more so. Or no?
I think we need some physical challenge.
Oh, no, only because I won 3. Is why I'm.
We need a physical
I was fine
challenge.
with what we did.
We need an eating challenge. Like there's many things I feel like instead of like I feel like we did a bunch of endurance challenge, a bunch of like there was a couple like crapshoot Big Brothery type challenges. Like I feel like there's definitely ones where you could kind of factor it in where you don't necessarily need a bunch of supplies, but you could definitely make it more diverse as people are saying. Also, just quick thing, when people vote, you take the votes out of the urn after each time and put in your pocket because the votes are in there. Like you could like I wasn't doing that, but you could easily see if you wanted to look in the urn and see what people have voted.
I think they did that early on, and then I think they stopped, I believe.
I talked to Tyler about it like mid-game, but
yeah. And another rule too I wanted, because it kind of came up in our game, was usually you shouldn't once the votes are starting to be read, you shouldn't be able to pass an idol to somebody. So going forward, we're going to really emphasize that just because you can't, as the votes are getting read, it's like, okay, it's like 4 Joe, 1 Dan. Obviously, Joe's Connex. You can't just hand it to Kayla and be like, yeah, this is yours. And once you're out of the game, regardless if there's a comeback or not, you can't just give your idol to somebody else or keep it. We got to do better as a whole, like me getting on the same page with production, because there's certain times I just like assume they would know not to do that. And I got to clarify that with some people. But that's a good point, Nolan, with that, because I think we don't really have an urn where people would they would be able to see it if it's just laying in there. So yeah, we got to make sure they aren't.
For the record, it happened before votes were read. I want to make sure you know.
No, I know, and I didn't emphasize that. So I'm not saying you guys did anything wrong because I didn't emphasize that. But going forward, I will.
Can I say something on that note?
Yeah, go ahead.
Something I was anticipating, and maybe you guys disagree, but I was anticipating when we're having that rock draw, I was like, okay, if we can get to that point where it has to be unanimous or not, I can flip Sam. And we didn't have that because you said you don't use that in your rules. I wonder, part of me is like, should that have been clarified before? But part of me is like, no, it's the game.
I agree. It should have been clarified before the second vote. In between votes, you should have said something. I mean,
that's still not unanimous if you get Sam, because Kayla would have to also agree with you guys.
Correct, but I'm just saying, like, I also don't think it would have changed my decision, like, on that second vote. But I do think you should have made.
I think clarifying it is important, like, legitimately.
Yeah.
My only feedback would be just casting wise. I mean, obviously the game is like Survivor Wisconsin is growing. I was on a season with a bunch of bums. No, I'm kidding. I think we need to be like a bit, and especially as like people who have played the game, we need to be a bit more proactive in finding women to play the game.
Yeah.
I think the fact that Kayla ate the way she did in a season where there were only 3 women was like, and clearly I am a Kayla super fan, but was truly incredible for her to
Yes.
just be able to do what she did. And so I think even we as alum need to take it upon ourselves to be like texting our female friends, like what, or to apply for this thing.
I would
Like Sir
love
Dolly.
for Mrs. Jamil and Mrs. Jimmy to play.
No Lynette. No Lynette.
Mrs. Dan might be in the running for season 11.
Well, I mean, Trinity's my winner pick if she plays. You heard it here first, but
I agree. No, I agree, Jimmy. Some of you guys were following me throughout the process. I was trying so hard to get more women to apply. Like, luckily, the season 7 we got it where it was 7 females, 6 males, which was awesome. And it's always been a struggle in our game. Now that we're opening up to more, just anyone can apply. Hopefully, it doesn't happen again. But legitimately, like, only 3 females applied. Like, them 3 all were the only ones that applied. And I was promoting it for a while to try to get more females. But hopefully we don't run into that problem if the word spreads enough. Because I want it to be even for sure.
I also think if you did it, like, I know you have your spots, you do the games, but I definitely think a more centralized location like Madison, where there's a more diverse, like there's a big population of
That's
people.
close to you.
But just, but in general, do you know what I mean? Like, I feel like for example, like you could.
I know, but I'm gonna go where whatever is best for me. To be honest, yeah.
Just my feedback.
I think also in the future seasons, cut the lunch hour, bring snacks or starve, like just deal with it. Cause like people were still strategizing, not eating. So I just cut the lunch hour.
I mean, you were out pretty quick after that lunch break though, right, Jamil?
I mean, I was, but I think a lot of people, they use that time to strategize, and camera people weren't necessarily getting all of like the conversations that were necessarily going on. So I think
Jimmy's performative PB and J.
I was gonna say my only strategy was eating Jimmy's PB and J
Uh-uh.
because that was disgusting.
Hey, I felt bad bringing them. That really was just me, y'all.
No,
I mean, there was a little bit of thought process into it for sure.
Devin, for
You still
more
ate it.
feedback, I would invite you to look us up and down and say who will be a better physical asset to this team when you're picking out teams. Like, I can say that because I'm 5 feet tall and like look at my team, right? So like if you could try and make it so that we're both physically advantaged, even if it's that's like blatant and you don't want to step on toes doing that, I think that we'd appreciate that next time.
Kayla, you don't want to relive the ultimate frisbee challenge when we walked into and found out what it was?
Are you like a professional ultimate frisbee player? I was like, look at my guys and like us noodle team. Like,
Okay, on that point though, Jimmy knew I played frisbee before the game, and so my feedback is Jimmy figured that out
a bit creepy,
because
bro. You're a bit too old to be doing that. Come on now, Jimmy.
Jimmy figured that out because the idol identifiers page followed everybody on cast before the game started. So maybe not doing that would be
I didn't let them follow me. I was on private. I didn't accept that. I knew it was
But
coming.
I don't know. I mean, that's that. I don't think that impacted the game at all. But Jimmy looked at me and he was like, "You look like an ultimate frisbee player."
I also knew Sam did comedy. I knew Sam did comedy. I knew Nick was
You're
a PA.
so weird, Jimmy. You're so weird. What
and you didn't make it as far as me, Jamil.
Jimmy, so do you just enjoy like young post-grad men? I'm just confused where this is going.
It was a great season, Devin. I appreciate you hosting. Feels like it's time to wrap up.
Thanks, so. Yeah, I appreciate the feedback. Won't be able to do all those things. We'll try our best. I appreciate it though. We always are going to kind of do what's best for us no matter what, but we definitely want to get more women involved. I do agree with trying to even out the strength. The reason I didn't is just because it was calm versus chaos. So I was kind of trying to match that, but a swap would have helped with that. But we didn't want to do a swap. So we also, like Christian commented, we don't know how good a shape people are in based on like maybe we need to do a little further videos of kind of seeing what people are good at, what their strengths are.
Maybe a little combine, little survivor combine.
Yeah, maybe I'll have you help with casting in the future, Nolan.
Yeah, either that or just in applications, just put like a scale of 1 to 10. I mean, obviously people could lie about how, like where they are on a strength scale, but
or just have them say what your strengths are. Your strengths puzzles,
or just have more equitable challenges during the tribes, like more like puzzles, less physical during tribe aspect, and you can move to more of the individual strengths at that part of the game.
Nick, would you have put your strength as slide puzzles in your application or what?
I think I did say in my application I'm good at slide puzzles.
All right. Well, I appreciate all of you so much. I love you all. You guys have really kept it growing this thing. It was awesome. A bunch of you guys came out to Andrea's Survivor Watch Party in Milwaukee last Wednesday, which was awesome. This was a little mini reunion before the reunion. Just with people around here, which is great. So all the viewers, stay tuned for the live cast reveal for Second Chance Thursday. I think Richie, the Early Birds pod, I think are going to be doing a live reaction. They might have a special guest from somebody in here tonight joining them, so that'll be fun. Season's coming quick. We're not stopping anytime soon. So thank you guys for watching. Follow our Instagram, idle.identifiers, just to stay up to date with everything. And give a round of applause, all you at home, for this great cast. They're definitely, some of them are going to be the faces going forward for us. So
Definitely apply. I did it on a dare. If you can apply, do it. It brings so much community and good stuff. Even though we all
It's
fight
so
each other, but I
fun.
do
You
like
will
that.
not regret it.
Yeah, it's such a great experience if you haven't done it. It was my first one, and I had a blast.
If you've done ORGs in the past and you think, oh, this is Survivor, that ain't shit.
That's your
This is the
Minecraft
real
Furry
deal.
Survivor, Jamil.
Yeah, absolutely. Sign up. Do it. You'll
If
love
your
it.
girl don't let you in.
Yeah,
You better
play,
watch.
play, but if I'm there, you're in trouble.
You better watch out for Nolan.
Hey, I'm on your favorite LRG players do not cast list.
oh, he already wants John V out if he's on the villain thread with him. We'll see what happens there. All right, everybody. Thank you all. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Devin.
Thanks, Devin.
Thanks,
Devin.
Love
Devin.
you all.
Thank you.
Congrats,
Bye, everyone.
congrats again, Sam.
Peace out. Peace. And good luck next